When you add up what normal people, I think you're able to get in another month a year. That's why I tell people I have advantage over you. I don't have to be smarter, I have to be better. I have another month of time because I get up that I can do shit, move the needle, whatever, right? It's the same thing. Like you either cut it off, don't go out, do stuff on the weekends. It's like we only have so much time. How do we move the needle? How do we get ahead?
Yeah, that's definitely a key. If you're going to win in life and in business, you have to be oddly aware and in tune with time.
All right, Mikey Lucas in the house. Mikey, what's going on?
What up, brother? How you doing? Good to see you again.
You know, it's kind of funny. I was doing some, 411 on you. And I was like, wait a minute. I think we met. I think you're in the mastermind together. And sure enough, it was like, yep. So we were chatting it up before you came on. So you're looking sharp over there. You're all dressed up. What's the attire for? What's going on?
Okay. So last year, since 2020, the short story is 2020, very stressful, was exiting company and got very, very, very overweight. In March 2023, so like last year, I gained about 40 pounds. March last year, I spoke at an event in Texas, and Andy Elliott spoke after me, and he made us stand up the whole time, and he basically yelled at me the entire time, and it was like as if he was talking directly to me. And from there, I said, okay, I have to change. So from there, I lost about 40 pounds. I'm down to 210. I was at 246. So about 30 pounds, about Congrats. 246 down to 210 now, 212 this morning. And then 2024 hit and I go, okay, the Mikey 4.0 is dressing up, doing his hair, grooming every single day. Because if I'm going to be the private equity Mikey, I have to do what my billionaire mentor, I've never seen him unless he comes to my pool during the weekend. I've never not seen him wearing a button up and a coat.
Can you say who your billionaire mentor is?
His name's Fred.
Well,
yeah, Fred.
You look like
Fred,
$1 billion. You're looking good, dude.
Appreciate
Congrats on losing the weight. I mean, you look good.
Appreciate it. Yeah, he manages $38 billion. Good dude. Oil and gas stuff.
Wow. Okay. So Mikey, just real quick, so everybody knows a little story, little background, how you got here and what's cracking, what's going on these days.
Awesome. Yeah. So I born and raised in Las Vegas. I am a three-time college dropout. I thought, hey, if all these billionaires, I wanted to stand out, right? I didn't really get along with traditional schooling, but I did excel in a lot of areas, which at the time was rallying people up for some sort of a cause. And at that point, it was drug use and partying, because I'm born and raised in Vegas, as you can imagine. Long story short, hit a wall, got severely addicted to Oxycontin, was taking 500, 600 milligrams of Oxycontin a day for multiple years in a row. Lost multiple friends, over 8 friends died overdose, a total of about 23 now, suicide, drug overdose, or drinking and driving issues. And I've got friends that are in prison now for a long time because they killed somebody or they were dealing drugs, so on and so forth. So the issue there was, okay, I've got what's called mortality motivation. So I knew that I should be dead because of the amount of drugs that I was taking. And then 2, I've got the appreciation of being free because I should be in prison for life because of the amount of drugs I had at me at one point. So there's a lot of guilt, shame, and regret from the past that had to come through personal development and healing that now makes me who I am. And I'm also I'm really a team player, but I'm a competitive yet a team player. The key there was that then put me into door-to-door sales. So I did door-to-door sales for a decade, installed hundreds of millions of dollars worth of solar panels door-to-door, created a 52.6% referral business, created other multi-award-winning sales reps making multi-6 figures a year, and then helped them make multiple 6 figures a year in passive income because I study the art of creating generational wealth from billionaires. My big, I guess you can say my thing is I built an exit strategy for me because just like you, I want to be on the beach in Ocean Beach or in Pacific Beach snowboarding every day. I don't want to have to be wearing a suit and tie every single day for very long. So the goal is to figure out how to build an exit strategy. So on my social media, I go around, I talk about building an exit strategy. And that's how I've been able to create so many 20 and 30, 40-year-olds to get them and keep them motivated, because now I can point and they have clarity on how to get out. And how they do that is obviously investing into things like we've invested into private equity deals, venture capitalist deals. And what I'm doing, my day job, is I run one of the largest up and coming energy funds in Houston, Texas.
Wow. It's a lot. That's a lot to unfold there. I've noticed, just being on this planet, you get older, it's people that didn't go to college, people that got another chance, people that maybe had a rough upbringing, people that came here to this country, were lucky enough to come somehow, and they just have these amazing stories, right? And people that are born here, they're just like spoiled because it's so easy, right? Let's just back up. So you go from doing that stuff, you survive basically, which is crazy. And then were you just kind of like, I got to get into something, I got to make money. You start knocking on doors. Is that kind of how it started?
No. I mean, yes and no. Okay. So the really cool part was that I was blessed to have a mother that no matter what I did, she was going to, if she had to get 3 jobs, which she did at one point to take care of her kids, she would. My dad,
unconditional love, basically.
Yeah. My dad would do whatever. She has the picture perfect of whatever it takes mindset and can do attitude. Super a phenomenal solopreneur. She's a great real estate agent out of Vegas. So okay. I knew that I could swing for the fences and I could always have a safety net. I just didn't want to forget the bat. And I learned that from kind of Ed Milet, is like swing for the fences, don't forget the bat. And that's kind of being a student of Ed. That's what I learned from him. So I knew that I could try things and figure out where do I want to be. But the other thing I was blessed with which is the ability to look in the future. And I do about 5 to 10 years at a time. So when I was 20 years old, I was working in restaurants and I said, okay, I have to work on holidays. I have to work on Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I'm not going to be able to be with my family. I don't have choice. That's okay. No worries. The way I was raised, from my dad at least, was you got to pay your dues. And okay, cool. I'll pay my dues. I don't have any problem with that. I will outwork you. I might suck at, ice skating with a stick and a puck, but give me a couple years and I will be the next Wayne Gretzky or the next Jack Eichel. Just give me time. So I was able to see in the future, thank God. And at 21 years old, I was like, okay, 10 years from now, I might be able to rank up and get, proximity of closer to the seniority rank. So I don't have to work on Christmas and New Year's, but I'm still going to have to work Mother's Day, Father's Day, all those other ones. So I was like, okay, is this really where I want to be? And the answer was no. So obviously at that point I said, okay, well then what do I do? Thank God I got a call from a buddy. It was like, hey, we're going out to Louisville this year to go sell alarm systems door to door. And I was like, he basically was like, you get to travel, we'll pay for everything. And I was like, cool, I'm in. And he was like, and you can make like 60 to 80 grand in a 3-month time frame. And I was like, done. I'm making 80 grand a year. You can tell me to do it in 3 months. Now, mind you, I didn't make anything. I barely made anything. I sold like a whole 62 jobs. So I installed a whole 62 jobs. So I basically made no money, but it showed me that was my first taste of real true entrepreneurship, and like more like a wrestling team versus a football team. It was, I'm going to get paid for the amount of value that I bring to the marketplace. And at that point, then I was like, okay, like this is cool. That's when I was like, I'm going to make as much of a career out of this as I could. And I said, no matter what, I'm going to do this for 10 years. And I really meant like 20 years, but I was like, no matter what, 10 years, put my head down, run for 10 years. 10 years later, exited my company, started multiple 8-figure solar companies, exited. Now I've got a private equity fund. That's where I'm at now.
Wow. So you became, okay, let me ask you this. What did you become really good at?
Getting told no and not caring.
And then you became really good at like getting told yes.
Yeah. I looked at it like, okay, that's one. I turned it into, okay, that was $18.23. That door, that no was $18.23. That door, right? And then obviously as it got better and bigger, but every door that I just touched was $18.23. So no matter what, I gamified it. I made a game out of it, and it didn't matter. It did matter because obviously I was like, if my number started getting down to $12, $8, right? I wanted to make sure that I spent more time in the batting cage than I did in the batter's box. So I got really good at practice and spending time out. Instead of going to the clubs, instead of going out and partying, I knew that I had to spend extra time in the batting cage, so that when I got to the batter's box, I would actually get the starting position.
What do you think? Like somebody's listening at this, maybe they're not really good at sales or don't like to be told no. What are your top 3 tips where it's like to help somebody out? Because I think there's people that are really great at sales, and there's people like they could do okay, but they're like, man, you're just missing these 3 things, right? Or whatever it is.
Sure. So number one, everything is a sale, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
I still, even though I'm sexy as all get out, I still have to sell my wife on having sex with me. So I still have to sell her. Everything is a sale. Everything is a sale. So when people say, oh, I'm not a salesman, right? Because salesman has a negative connotation to directly correlated with a used car salesman, meaning I'm going to get screwed over, or some like crappy insurance salesman that sells crap insurance or whatever. You get the point. So a low class, salesperson. So everything is a sale. They just like realtor is a salesman. Doctor is a salesman, right? They're all, a pastor is a salesman selling life. It's just depending on the product that they're selling. So number one, everything is a sale. Number two is, if idiot Mikey, who had a vocabulary of like less than 400, 500 words, can now have read over 800 books, who's severely dyslexic, ADD, ADHD, all of that. It's a matter of, do you actually want to exit the way that you want? And in other words, if it is the exit strategy strong and compelling enough for you to actually get out. And if it is, you will find a way. You will find the information. You will start to read the books. You will start to understand human psychology. And I would say that would be probably the third thing. Is number two is you need a compel. Anyone can do it, because I was not a salesman, not a salesman. I thought I was. I had a little bit of game, but I really wasn't that good. I mean, like, I'm talking like full blown affluent negotiation, being able to stand up and say, all right, awesome, you won. Let's get the deal done. Like, being able to do that over 10 years is, I'm pretty freaking good at it now.
Oh,
and then
you got to be.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So now, but you do anything for 10 years, you become really good at it.
Yeah.
If you practice and you pay attention.
Yeah.
I'll say the third thing is, if they're not, then just realize that there's a fork in the road. If you're not good at sales, negotiations, closing deals, things like that, getting what you want, it could just be getting an upgrade at a hotel, getting an upgrade on an airplane, negotiating better lease terms with your tenant, with your landlord, getting a raise at your job. Everything has, you have a fork in the road. It is your decision whether or not you're going to get what you want, or you're going to submit to a better closer, which is your boss, your landlord, your whatever. So for me, I wanted to get what I wanted without having to yell, bite, claw, scream. And I do sales in the sense of, most people go wrestling. They go push, 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 push. I'm more of jiu-jitsu, and I submit you with your own power. And people are like, I don't even know how the hell he did that. And I also I've never studied more than like 5 minutes about what NLP is. So I don't even know what the hell that means. So anybody that says, oh, he's like an NLP guy, I don't even know what the hell that is, which I don't even know if that makes sense in this context, but it's been coming up like, oh, you're good at NLP. I'm like, what is NLP?
Okay. So since you said this, because I know you're good at sales, because when I saw you, I know people talked about you, because if you've been knocking on doors for 10 years, I know you're amazing at sales, because you and I know that. Like, if you lasted, you're amazing, especially if you exited. Yeah. So I got to hear this real quick. Okay. So tell me a good story, or tell us if you're at a hotel and you want to get the upgrade, because I want to hear this. Like, easy. Because this is good for everybody, because like you said, you're going to go in there like, I'm going to bulldog this guy. And you're like, no, that doesn't work, right? Because people go like this. Tell me how you're going to tell that guy, how that guy behind the counter is going to put you into the suite. I just got to hear this, because I know it's going to be good. Okay. So this is just the short version of it. But if you're with your significant other, you got to get significant other to make sure that the aura, the energy is high. And it's very easy to do that by smiling, right? Because what most people do, put yourself in their shoes. It's always the next dickhead that's coming up to your stand. And not only that, especially when they ask for an upgrade, those are the most annoying people. So I always go in, and another funny thing is, I've never read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. So I have no idea what that means as well. But here's what I do. No matter what, I go in immediately. How's it going? And then I'm immediately, hey, Mikey, how's it going? How's your day? Awesome. Cool. Yeah. Name. Okay, cool. Awesome. I let them take the authority frame. Cool. Name, card, badge. Awesome. Sweet. Sounds good. Here you go. And just start to look around, look at appearances, things like that. Their hair, their shoes. I try to look at, especially if they got like nice socks or something like that. I try to compliment something that no one else is going to compliment. The other day, I was able to get an upgrade in, where in the heck was I? Dallas, at the Omnia Hotel, and complimented the dude's socks, and was like, hey man, like, where are those socks from? Those are really cool, really awesome socks. He's like, no way. Right. I'm like, yeah, it's cool. If I was standing right here, you wouldn't see the socks. I only saw the socks because I saw them I was paying attention from over there. So you go up, awesome. Find something to compliment. Hair, if it's a woman, especially hair, earrings, nails, eyelashes. So for me, my sister runs a massive eyelash training business and like stores in Vegas. So like eyelashes to me is a very big thing now, because it's reticular activating system. It's in my family. And then hair as well. My sister and my wife always have their hair done and get whatever they, that's on the Amex. You get what I'm saying there. So who do you get your hair done by? Where do you get your hair done at? It looks amazing. And I'll compliment a dude's haircut. Same thing. So compliment right away. First thing I'll go, and then I'll go into, awesome. You guys look pretty busy. You guys pretty packed out. And it's like, it's 100% of the time. If it's no, we're not busy at all. I've not once missed ever in my entire life getting an upgrade if they say it that way.
And I go, and you have to say like, like nonchalant, like you're having a conversation, and my posture is more lean back and I'm just casual. And I go, yeah. So like you guys are pretty busy. You guys are in a pretty busy season. It's pretty busy this weekend, huh? And I'm like, yeah, shaking my head. Yeah. And they go, no, not at all. Not at all. So if they say that, then you go, oh, no worries. Cool, man. So where are you from? Are you from? And usually it's, a lot of times like in the badge will say where they're from.
Yeah.
From Dallas or from Pahrump. I'm from Vegas, right? Try to then connect with them, create the connection. And then from there, keep going forward. Awesome, cool. Try not to push it too fast. And then, hey, no big deal, boom, boom, boom. And then they go, awesome. You're checking in for 3 days, checking out, boom, boom. Sounds good. Awesome, cool. Do you guys have a car? Yeah, do you need I have a screenshot. I have a picture of the license plate. Do you need that? Rental car, always take a screenshot, picture of the license plate so you don't forget it. And they go, oh, dude, I'm gonna be your hardest client today, your hardest guest today. I'm gonna be the guy that's gonna ask you for an upgrade. And they go, wait, what? Yeah. Do you guys have any upgrades available? And a lot of times after you've already complimented them multiple times and connected with them, talked about what they're interested in, which I think is the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. When you talk about what they're interested in, then it plays out differently. I've actually recorded one. This was in New York City and we got it. My wife was like, what the actual hell did you just do? I mean, the guy was pissed. So you get the upgrade. And, even if they don't, right, then you just keep moving forward, but no worries. You just say, hey, look, I'm going to be your hardest guest today. I'm going to be the guy that asks you for an upgrade, and then either you just stop and let them see what happens, or you say, do you guys have anything available? And they go, let me see what I can do for you. And then if they give it to you, great, you won. If not, no big deal. And then you could also be like, hey man, I would love to mention your name in a 5-star review. Where do I do that at? That's how you do it.
That's good. It's funny you say that is because my wife and I have been up to a place and you're in a good mood. It could have been like wine country or something at a hotel and you're laughing and this. Next thing you know, hey, we just upgraded you because, they're like, these guys are cool. They're nice. They're this. They could have just had some pain in the ass client before, right? That's like, man, I like that line. I'm going to be your most difficult customer today.
I learned that from Chris Voss. Another thing you can do there is also compliment, especially if it's a manager or a supervisor, or like a lead, compliment something in the building. Like, dude, your valet guys are very, very nice. Like it's very clean. And I'm from Vegas and we're the entertainment capital of the world. Like I'm very picky with things. Like you guys are running a really tight show. Whatever you're doing is working. Well done. So compliment.
That's good.
Airline thing.
I want to start jumping into kind of what you got going on, but what was your, cause this would be good. What was your aha moment? Like with you, like what was the aha moment that really changed everything for you?
There was multiple of them, but a few of them were realizing that the first one that came to mind immediately was realizing that if I didn't get my stuff together, that everybody that talked crap about Mikey in high school and early in college, they would be right. And I would just be a wash, especially. And again, this is not as much of an encourager anymore. It's now bigger stuff. But back then, the most aha to stay sober, because getting sober was pretty easy motivation. Staying sober was if I don't stay sober, there was two things. That my ex-girlfriend's parents, Susie and John, they would be right about Mikey Lucas, that I would turn out just like XYZ, whatever, that I would turn out like the wash they thought I was going to be. So that initially lasted about 5-6 years. And then two, at that point, it was doing it for other people as well. So staying sober, that moment for that was if I don't stay sober, then there's no possible way that anybody else will be able to do it. Because if I can't, then they can't. That's in that case. Yeah. We can divulge in that, or we can go back into the business side too. So
yeah. So you've been sober for a while now. No drinking, nothing. I mean,
I drink. I'm just saying from. So when I say sober, it's funny. I heard Grant Cardone get called out the other day. I think I forget who it was. I've been sober from synthetic heroin for almost 11 years now. I haven't taken a painkiller in 11 years.
Wow. Yeah. You have some drinks, but you're like,
yeah,
but you're fine with it. You're good. You got it. You know who you are. You got a lot of things going on. You got a lot to lose. You're like, it's not, nothing's worth it.
Yeah. I'm not, here's my standard. If I know somebody struggles with it, I absolutely will not drink.
Yeah.
I'm more sensitive to that kind of stuff. So if I don't have to drink, like, what's funny is if I go out here in Houston, that's where I'm at now, I'll get a soda water and lime. And it's really ironic, but people think I'm wasted. And I'm like, this is just me at 7 a.m. and 11 p.m. I'm the same. I'm having a good time. I don't need what happened. And this is like drug and alcohol and abuse, substance abuse related, was I was using substances as a socially first, and then it became solutionally. So I was using drugs and substances as a solution to avoid growing up and being responsible to the things I need to be responsible to. And that happens still today. I just do other things. And the key is that it's not that it doesn't still happen. It's that I catch it a lot quicker now. And I think that people misunderstand that with like the gurus on the internet. They're like, they don't get tempted anymore. Like, no, I get tempted probably every day, every couple hours. But I just catch it. I catch it and I go, that's interesting. It sounds like I need to go on a dream building walk in River Oaks right here and go look at some multi-million-dollar properties because I'm over here thinking about, getting crazy on the weekend. Like what? No, let me go refocus and redirect my thoughts and my attention to where the outcomes are. Because I want to be on the beach in Pacific and Ocean Beach, where my family's from in Point Loma. I want to be there hanging out, kicking it. And I can't do that if I go out and party every other week or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, Ice Cube said the best, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself. So I just tell people, like, you got to be checking in. You might have to check in once a day. Like you said, 10 times a day, 20 times a day, whatever it takes.
Yeah. Yeah. There's this thing, correct. And there was we don't got to get too into it because I don't actually remember all the numbers, but I called it the 104-day theory. So when I was getting sober years ago, I created what's called the 104-day theory, which basically means that if I party one day, Friday night, okay, that means all day Friday. And I'm trying to make it as quick as possible. All day Friday, the only thing, and I'm just thinking W2 mindset. All day Friday, the only thing I was thinking about was texting my boys. We're going to go out and party. We're going to go to this bar. Then we're going to go to that dance bar. Then we're going to go over here. Who's got this? What's that? Who's coming? I'm not being as efficient, effective, and productive as I possibly. I'm not at 100%.
Yeah. On
that one day, and then I party, and then the next day I'm hungover, and there's no possible way I'm at 31 years old now. I'm 100%. I'm not 100%. I got to get an IV. I got to go to the sauna, right? I got to do all this stuff now. So that's 2 days, 140 theory. So if I was partying once a week, 52 days a year, times that by 2, I'm not as efficient, effective, and productive on the weekends. That means that's 104 days. Instead of having 365 days to get ahead and get advanced, rip the competition's throat out, I only have 261 days left. So my goal was, and then not only that, if you add in like the amount of hours on social media, and that was back then, it cut out about 91 days. So now you're not at 365 to get better and beat the competition. You're only at now 170 days roughly of, if you take out the amount of actual hours spent, 3 hours a day, which was the average that people are on social media, not including their one Netflix series that they watch every single day. So now I was limiting, it's a factor, right? I was limiting myself from gaining ground from 365 days or maybe 360 days.
That's the best part about being an entrepreneur. Internet goes down. You have to bob and weave with even technology, especially technology nowadays with AI. But yeah, the main concept there is learning the value of time. And if I didn't get ahead in the game, that I was already significantly, severely behind. So I guess that would be another major point there, is accepting the fact that I was very far behind comparatively to a lot of my friends, or where I wanted to be, or what I thought could possibly happen, which would be like, a couple houses and what I thought was like the American dream.
We've been working on this for the past few months. We always want to bring as much value as we possibly can, and our partner, Prime Corporate Services, is all about bringing you a service you can't get anywhere else at a price you can't get anywhere else. Whether you're new to owning a business or owning a property, or you're an experienced property owner or investor, Prime Corporate Services is not only going to help you, but they're going to make the process so much easier. So if you book a call, the first thing they're going to do for you is help you understand what your business structure should look like, your corporate structure, tax planning, estate planning, all of that. Maybe you're saying, I'm brand new to starting a business and all this sounds foreign and complicated. Remember, this company helps new people just getting started every day. They're going to help you form the entity that's best for you and walk you through the process. Before I found this company, we paid thousands of dollars to other attorneys, CPAs, and consultants to try to understand exactly how we need to be structured to be as protected as possible. We've also gone the other route and used online platforms to form entities which unnecessarily put us at risk. You guys, you don't have to do that with this company. They'll do all of these things for you at a reasonable price, so you never have to think about saving money at the expense of exposing yourself to liability. We've searched high and low, and you will not find this much value anywhere else. All you have to do is schedule a free call today. Just go to primecorporateservices.info/GITCG. Once again, that's primecorporateservices.info/GITCG. We'll also leave the info for you in the show notes.
Yeah. It's just like somebody drives by you with a fancy car and you're like, they're successful. I'm like, how do you know?
Yeah.
Because they have a nice car.
True.
Yeah.
True.
No, I like that because I get up at 3 a.m. So I'm an odd bird and I want me time, but so I go early. So if I do have to go out or something, I don't really drink much, but if I do, I stay up late. I'm like, it really just screws, and I can go with little sleep. It screws me up. So I get it. It's like, so I tell people, I get up early, but when you add up, I think my friend that he did the math, he goes, when you add up what normal people, I think you're able to get in another month a year. So that's what I tell people. I have that advantage over you. I don't have to be smarter, I don't have to be better. I'm like, I have another month of time because I get up that I can do shit, move the needle, whatever, right? It's the same thing. Like you either cut it off, don't go out, do stuff on the weekends. It's like we only have so much time. How do we move the needle? How do we get ahead?
Yeah, that's definitely a key. If you're gonna win in life and in business, you have to be oddly aware and in tune with time.
So speaking of winning a business, I know you're doing your coaching thing, real estate. There was like real estate, crypto, franchising, the solar. What do you really focus on right now? What are you going to get into the next, year or two? And what are you kind of excited about?
So my entire focus right now is in the energy sector. So I went from installing residential solar to now installing and developing oil and natural gas wells and pipelines. So my mentor has helped me get into he's basically adopting me, which is pretty awesome. That's what it feels like. And I feel unworthy to be able to have that, but he obviously sees something in me that I know that is there, and he's going to help develop it, which is pretty cool. But it's the whole like loyalty thing and like the can-do attitude, whatever it takes mindset kind of concept behind that too. Plus, if you can go 10 years of door sales, you can get rejected by a lot of people and be okay. So my main focus over the next really 5 to 10 years is making billions of dollars on the crumbs of Exxon in this energy super cycle. We are in the 2009, 2010 for energy. Oil hit negative $36 a barrel a couple of years ago. And there was a big M&A. So a lot of merger and acquisitions, and the big guys squeezed out all the little guys, which now that's where we come in, and we have an opportunity to make millions and millions of dollars in profit every single year based off of the energy super cycle that we're currently in.
What's just because what is going on in the energy world sector? Like what's changing? Like what's changing, I guess, now or maybe the next 5 years? Like what is the change?
So as everybody knows, unless your head's been under a rock, the government's policies have been pushing stop oil. Very first day, President Biden said, we're going to stop oil. Now, when they stop oil, they didn't actually stop oil. They just stopped drilling on federal lands. I will not, just like I won't invest in California real estate or New York real estate, I will not invest into federal land drilling. So the key thing there is that, yes, they did stop drilling, which made private companies be able to produce more and get more of the stake, which I don't know why the government would get rid of all of that cash flow, but it's in the name of, I guess, going green. So the ESG movement has pushed this electrification, which if we were prior to this, prior to the 70s and the 60s, it would be more about like, the people, the companies. But once the 70s hit, it was more about shareholder value and profit. So that's why now that it's been exposed that these billion-dollar companies have been pushing lots of money into renewable energy. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for the energy. I'm the first generation off the water. I love the ocean, and I do not want to live in places that, people just throw crap all over the streets. I love, one thing about Vegas is it's very, very clean there on the streets and in the casinos, and the right casinos, obviously. So I'm all for being clean. I'm all for that. But at the same time, human flourishing, humans thriving, we need to have cheap, reliable, sustainable energy, which right now is natural gas. Over 64% of the heating and cooling comes from natural gas. If we were just to stop that at that point, that means costs for lower income, middle income, and elderly people would skyrocket. At that point, that would squeeze out, and that would literally bankrupt or kill millions and millions of people. So as far as the energy side goes, we have the war in Ukraine, which obviously stopped a lot of natural gas. I mean, natural gas, a lot of it came for Europe, and the West and the Eastern world came from Russia. We have the Hamas and Israel, issued war going on, which stopped 1 million barrels a day. So now, and then you have OPEC, who is typically leaning towards green, trying to stop oil and gas. And I'm all for eventually transitioning out of the fossil fuel era into a sustainable energy future, but not within the next 10 years, which is what they're trying to do. And it's impossible. I mean, like Elon Musk, the leader of renewable and electric cars, is like, we don't need less natural gas. We need more natural gas. If we're going to have a successful transition out, we need more natural gas and oil right now, which is why you take the billionaires mindset at it and you go, when everyone's fearful, you should be greedy. And when everyone's fearful about investing in oil and gas, I'm like, done. There it is. Open door, walked right in, and we started freaking taking over, which is really awesome.
Wow. What's the guy's name? Gosh, here's this guy I've listened talk. You probably know him. Is it like I might screw this up. It's like Arthur Berman or something. He's like you hear that guy?
Yeah.
He's like this gas, but he's also saying like you can't even get rid of oil because of how much money is made, here around the world. It's like you can't even there's a world without it isn't just like about energy. It's about so many jobs and money in this, right? There's a lot behind it just to say we're going to get rid of it in 5 years. It's almost impossible. Like Elon would agree, like these guys,
Yeah, over 50% of the petroleum that's pulled out of the ground is used for raw materials like your Lululemon pants, your plastic silverware, your plastic Tupperwares, paint. I mean, there's so many products that oil or petroleum is used for that people don't realize. And it is what it is, tires, streets. I don't know what to tell people, but we don't like, and I get it. The argument is, well, if nobody does something about it, then it'll, some sort of a catastrophic event will happen in the future. It's like, yeah, sure. But there's got to be a middle ground. We can't just stop it completely. That's why I stand against the stop oil people, because why don't they stop oil? Like take all the oil products out of your house, take all the oil, like stop driving, you better, stop living in your house who was made by diesel trucks that, put up all the trusses and everything. That's like take all the nails that are keeping your wood together in your home were pressed by some sort of electricity that was probably produced by natural gas. So it's just like, it's really interesting that I get it. We want to transition, but there's a reasonable and responsible way. I think we should absolutely, as humans, as the human race, we should absolutely respect the globe and the earth. It's the only one we got. But at the same time, there's a difference between human flourishing and humans thriving and massive issues that is with this stop oil crap.
So that's like your big focus now. What did you learn from exiting one? I don't know how many you've exited. What is the biggest thing you've learned from exiting a company?
That it's not as cool as people say it is. It is a lot more stressful, and it was my first time doing it, so I basically got screwed.
Yeah. But I hear that, unfortunately.
Learning lesson. It's all good.
Yeah. As good as you are at sales, negotiating, somebody was better.
Yeah. Talk about Shark Tank. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. What? So you're doing that. Are you doing coaching or anything else, or?
No. So I was doing executive consulting because that's what Dan Fleischman told me to do. He said, hey, if you're going to start this fund, which I think is a great idea, you should prove the concept first for a little while and then go into, like have two jobs, have a day job and build your, what could be a fund, which was smart because a lot of people that, for instance, try to start a fund don't end up making it because it's a lot harder than it looks. Everyone thinks, yeah, I got this great deal. I'm going to just raise all this money. It's like, I thought the same thing. Got, $5-6 million in commitments and $1 million came in the first year. I was like, what happened? I thought you had the money, send the money to the account. Like, let's go. So I was doing executive consulting because I coached over now 260 companies. I turned a couple of those executive consulting clients and financial coaching clients into equity plays with their companies. So I have a financial mastermind called Exit Financial that I teach guys how to exit, create generational wealth within the next 7 years, design a life that they want, have whole life success. And then at that point, I've got a referral software that's built for solar and roofing sales professionals and companies. And then I've got the American Energy Fund. So that's like I guess you could say what my day job is as far as consulting and coaching goes. I still technically do coaching, but it's only in the financial side. Got you.
What would you say? Because a lot of people that watch this are in real estate, investors, entrepreneurs. You did solar for a while. What is the deal with solar, right? There's so many companies. A lot of people feel like they got screwed, didn't work, this, that. Like, you've done it, you sold it. What is the real deal with solar? Is it worth it, not? And if it is worth it, what should people really be asking and doing to get solar, whether it's a house or a building or whatever?
So I didn't build a 52.6% referral business screwing people over.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair?
Yeah.
So
I agree with that.
So what happens is the main things that I would focus on was measure 3 times, cut once. What happens is the homeowners trust, just like they trust their CPA, they trust their doctor. They don't question their doctor. They don't question their CPA, and they don't question their solar professional. They don't question their real estate agent either. There's 4 people they don't question. For some reason, they don't question that because I come up as if I am the expert, which I am an expert, but everyone that's a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years into that is probably not an expert. They don't care as much as they should. The main things that if you ever got screwed over in solar, it's because you did not calculate how many kilowatts you've consumed over the last year or 2 years, and you were sold a system that on paper said it was going to be 100% of what you consumed last year. But in reality, it was only about 60, 70%, not including the cut that the utility takes out. So that is where you got screwed over because you didn't do your proper due diligence, which comes back to our first conversation before we were recording, is doing due diligence on what the people are actually saying is how do I know that it's truthful? And solar is the best thing. I think every home and business should have solar if it can have solar. The hard part is if the power companies will buy the power back at a reasonable rate. Right now, the government with the Inflation Reduction Act, you can get up to 50% of the entire cost paid for by the government. Again, limited amount of money. It's a bucket pool of money. But if they can, businesses, industrial, commercial, and residential can all get up to 50%. Based off of up to 50%, at minimum 30%, up to 50%. Not including businesses can do depreciation on the actual system. Businesses can do that, which they can get up to 80%. In some states, they're getting paid to go solar. New York, South Carolina, parts of Chicago, getting paid to put solar panels on your roof. That is what it used to be years and years and years ago. And again, the catch is that you have to do your due diligence. Everyone has Google now, so you should net your price anywhere between $3 net, like $280 to $330 net dollars a watt net for a good system, and make sure that you have additional insurance on the roof. For the panels. Make sure that, if something bad happens, like in Florida, that the insurance company is going to cover that, and make sure that you know how much you're going to consume. The other side of the coin is that homeowners, as soon as they go solar, immediately think free energy, and they just crank everything up, leave windows open, leave the fridge open. It's like, no, like the panels produce, let's just say it's 600 kilowatts each a year. You've got 10 panels, you're producing 6,000 kilowatts a year. You consume 6,000, the panels produce 6,000. If you consume more, you go get a Tesla, that Tesla is going to consume 3,500 kilowatts. You're going to have a bill for 3,500 additional kilowatts. It's not going to cover everything.
Wow. Yeah, that's good. That's a good breakdown for people to know. That'll be good to repost right there. So we were talking before, investing in deals and, investing in deals, whether you're raising money, investing in deals. The big thing we're talking about is the communication, what's going on, how you raise the money. Even if a deal falls apart, you're investing. There's nothing guaranteed, but we've invested, we've done it. You've done it. We're talking about that. I kind of want to go over when you've invested in deals or you're doing it. What have you learned from others that you're doing to change? And then if somebody's watching us and they're like, hey, I'm going to go invest in a deal, what really should they be looking for, preparing questions, and like where to say, I'm going to do this, or where to say, you know what, I need to run. I need to get out of here. This is not going to work. Maybe it's not even a bad investment. It's like, I just don't think like this operator is the right person or whatever, So
there's a couple things there. The first easy one is if I don't use the product, I'm not going to invest into it, which is that food product that we were talking about earlier. I didn't invest in that because I don't eat that food. I was like, this is easy, even though it looks like the numbers are going to put pencil out. I don't eat that product, so I'm not going to do it. Everbowl, I love Everbowl. I eat the crap out of Everbowl when I was not carnivore. I don't have any problem investing in Everbowl at that time. Right? It hasn't penciled out as well, but you get the point. So if I won't consume or eat the product, I will not use it, which is why I'm not going to go invest into some marijuana farms, because I'm not someone who says I want to go and have that in my resume and let my kids know your daddy helps people, limit their mindset and smokes pot all day long. So alignment of goals. Again, I'm not the don't smoke weed guy. I'm just I don't smoke weed because this is it doesn't help me be creative, which is scientifically proven that it doesn't help you be creative, even though people think that it does, especially with the weed nowadays. Oh my God. It's like the anxiety on 10 times 100 probably. So it's not like it was back in the day, like my dad said. And now I feel the same way 10, 15 years ago. So that's that. So if I don't use a product, I won't invest into it. Number two is going to be, is if possible, try to do your best to make it where you can meet the person in person, meet the person you're investing with in person, and try to spend as many hours, if not days, with them, so that you can see, hey, is this person, checking the boxes and like, is their car clean? Is their house clean? What does their bathrooms look like? How do they treat, people that are not insignificant, but people that don't really matter to them, like the waiters, the cashiers, stuff like that. How do they treat people? Because that's how they're going to treat you in the future. And then not only that, you can ask them about like, old partnerships, old deals. If they're completely talking crap about that person or that deal, like it's going to happen again. People, especially men, they're just creatures of habit. So, I mean, obviously I've changed, but you've changed as well, but you get the point. They're creatures of habit.
Yeah.
So how they talk about one thing, in other words, how they do anything is how they do everything, which I don't really believe that, but it's a theory that's factual, not 100% factual, but it's factual. And as a baseline, not a determining factor, but it's there. And then the things that I've learned is don't do due diligence based off of somebody else who has had success in the past, because I've done that. I invested in a couple deals, in one deal specifically, and was like, that dude is like the investor of all investors. And if he's in, then I'm in, because he must have done the due diligence. With ChatGPT and Bard and all this stuff now, it is very easy with a couple books, especially real estate and oil. If it's real estate and oil and even private equity deals, there is $20 books, $50 books out there that will tell you a step-by-step guide on what to look for on real estate, on oil and gas deals, on private equity deals, on venture capital deals. They're out there. Freaking get the system and spend the 30 days, which leads me to my fourth point is try to do your best to do at least 30 days of a cool down due diligence process and allocate and be very intentional about doing the due diligence on that project, on that person. Because what a lot of guys are doing now is they are showing you returns in real estate or in, for instance, oil and gas based off of the last couple of years. Well, the last couple of years for everybody's been freaking great. Crypto has been great, except for crypto, right?
Yeah.
It's been great, right? So I want to look more over like what billionaires are doing. And like, for instance, Ray Dalio or Warren Buffett over the last 40, 50, 60 years. So I want to know, can I buy this real estate property or this specifically oil and gas, folks? I'll talk my language. Can I buy this oil and gas well, and can it be profitable at the 40-year average, $35 a barrel?
Gotcha.
And if I can't, then and it won't pay off in 3 years, I'm out. So there's a couple, like I would say, stages of due diligence that if you don't have at least a parameters, boundaries of what that due diligence looks like, then it's hard. But guess what? There's books. There's people that put it in books.
What's your biggest lesson you've learned owning like businesses, running them?
That I care more about people's financial and mental future than they do. That I need to unattach from the result. I need to detach myself from the person and the result, because if they don't want it, then I end up slowing down and I end up hurting the rest of the pack. That I need to focus on the top 20% of the producers, 80% of my time. That at the time of running sales companies, that my sales reps were on lease for 6 months. My managers were on lease for 1 year, and any day after that was a complete blessing. Thank God. And I was able to keep guys for a lot longer than that most of the time. And that I ran a personal development company that just so happened to buy oil and gas wells. I ran a personal development company that just so happened to sell solar panels. I ran a personal development company that just so happened to install alarm systems. I'm a personal development company that just so happens to do whatever the hell we sell or buy.
Gotcha. That's awesome. No, that's good. Mikey, where's the best place people can follow you, learn more about you? If they want to talk to you about investing, where would they go?
Technically, the best way to go is my website, MikeyLucas.com, MikeyLucas.com. Otherwise, YouTube is where I don't need people's money. I just need them to understand that there's a better way, and that most of the gurus on the internet are not lying to you. And we're friends with a lot of those guys. They're not lying to you. They're just not telling you everything, because unfortunately you don't understand the lingo yet. So I do my best to be the anti-guru on the internet, and that's through YouTube. And then obviously Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and my LinkedIn. So I'm all on all platforms. My YouTube is exclusive content there. It comes out first, long form, medium form, and short form. And then LinkedIn is where I post a lot of articles. I write a lot on Twitter as well.
Oh, cool. Awesome. So I always ask one question, which is going to be great because you've mentioned it many times. What is your definition of generational wealth?
Generational wealth. Okay. So my definition is what the Bible says, which is Proverbs 13:22, that generational wealth is leaving an inheritance to your children's children. So at the very least, my children's children, my grandchildren will be able to benefit from what Mikey Lucas did in his 20s and now in his 30s.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Mikey, it's been fun. I know it looks like we changed backgrounds, we changed the look, but you still look good. You sound great. And guys, that's what it's all about. Shit's going to happen. Things are going to come up, whether you're a parent, whether you're a mom, whether you're, an employee, or especially if you own a business, it's never going to be old. So, I think we got through that painlessly, but I really appreciate the time. And honestly, congrats on all your success and just like making it through, and you're here. Like you're you weren't a statistic. You're actually, so the people that, I bet you there's people in your life that said this guy's going to be a loser and they run into you. They're like, wow, I was wrong.
Yeah, I get it. And at the same time, I also get we knew you would make it. I'm like, no, you hated it. I mean, you never invited me because I was struggling. When I needed you most, you disappeared. And that was unfortunate. So I know now to not do that to people when they need me most. I attempt to do my best to be there.
Yeah. I mean, you're probably such a huge resource, influence, and it goes on for so many people that are struggling now. Let's leave with one more thing. Somebody is struggling, it could be, addiction, whatever. What is it going to take? I mean, what is it going to do? What do they need to do? What is the one thing you're like, you don't do this, forget it, I mean, let's leave them with that.
Okay. So I've studied Jordan Peterson for the last probably 4 or 5 years now.
Wow.
Intensely, and really big fan of his. The way that he says is you need to get into the gym. You need to change your environment, and by getting more into physical shape. If you go and get in physical shape on a consistent basis, your energy and your thoughts, your creativity will come back to you. And if you don't know how to work out, pull out YouTube and go and type in the Google search how to start working out as a man, how to start to work out as a woman. And then there will be a million people teaching you how to work out for free.
Yeah.
That's what I would say, because my team, my assistant, and the COO of my company know that if I'm ever complaining, I know we're going over, I apologize. If I'm ever complaining more, core value of our company, one of them, 90-10, 90% solution, 10% of the problem. If I'm ever complaining like 90% and 10% of the solution, they know to trigger me and say, hey, Mikey, like, understand, when was the last time you did dream building while you were in the gym? Can you please cancel something on your calendar today and go and get into the gym? Because I don't hit the gym every day anymore. I don't have time to. And the gym is downstairs. I live in a high rise. The gym is right here. Like, there's no excuses. I don't have any excuses. But I was working from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. last night. And I was supposed to go to the gym and I couldn't go to the gym. So it is what it is. But if I would say, if you're struggling, one of the things that you can do is by going after the dopamine rush, right? Get out of the house, get out of the environment. That's what I have to do too. I have to go and find coffee shops. I have to come downstairs on the residence lounge down here and hang out, because if I don't, I get all like, tunnel vision, and it ends up becoming this deep, dark cycle of mental that capacitates you rather. And men, it is compelling. It holds on to you. If you don't get out and smile, trying to smile a little bit will help as well. And it's not some woo-woo bull crap. I'm a big Tony Robbins fan. It's not woo-woo crap. It is actual physiology. When you change that, boom, you're good to go. You're in.
Yeah, I kind of, I know a lot of people are, writing goals. I know we're kind of going over, but this is good. As we're, a lot of people are writing goals. They're doing all that stuff. And I told people, I said, the one thing I learned is it's great to write the goal, but what are you going to give up to get the goal? And a lot of people are like, what are you talking about? And I said, so I get up at 3:00. I've been doing this. People watch. I said, I'm very consistent. And so people are like, how do you do that? I said, because Alex Hermosi says this too. He's like, yeah, I'll just not go out. I'll not go to dinner. If you want to go to dinner, I'm not going to go to 8. I go at 5. And I'm like, so what's funny, people in my life, because I've literally groomed myself and them, they're like, hey, you want to go to dinner? I'm like, sure. And they're like, 4:35. I said, you're starting to learn that if you say 7, I'm like, but the thing, so I tell people is write down what you're going to get rid of. The bad relationship, like you said, party on Friday, no more Netflix, no more, this stuff at night, to get up and do the things. It doesn't matter if it's a business, this, that. So I told people, it's like, what are you going to give up? What are you going to sacrifice? If you say nothing, I'm like, then you're not, how are you going to make a change? Because you, Mikey, made a huge sacrifice to make a change. I did too. And we know that's the way it works. It doesn't work. Just write a goal and think I'm just going to do it out of pure luck, or it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, it's not. You got it, but you have to trade. So the bad habit for another habit. You can't just be stop and sit there. It's stop and trade it. So you have to trade it.
I love the gym. Like you said, get in the gym, get healthy, because that will help here, and that will be. I can't do that if I want to stay healthy and stay in here.
No one's talking about it, but the food, the water that we're drinking is completely sucking the nutrients out of our body, and there is no nutritional value, most nutritional value in any of the food that we're eating anymore. So it's a very toxic, and that we wonder why our men's health, or even women's health, is becoming a pandemic. It's getting worse and worse and worse. And it's because of the food, the crap that we're eating. high carb, low protein, low fat, it's getting bad.
Yeah.
High
And then
sugar.
on top of that, people just, they get, the pill popping and all that, just quick to, I got to sleep by this, that. It's like, I'm like a anti-pill guy, I'm just like, no, but I agree with you. I've actually started eating a lot healthier, but a lot more protein and just the supplements. I'm like, it's amazing how I can be more consistent with feeling good, feeling alert, doing that. It's just, you see it. Like I tell people, it's not bullshit. When you will start to notice a dramatic difference if you just stick with it.
Yeah. I'm not a dietitian, but my testosterone did go up. I track it every 3 to 4 months. My testosterone did go up over 240 points from starting carnivore.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Mikey, that was fun. Thanks for the time, and it's good to see you.
Appreciate it. I'll reach out to you when I get out to San Diego. I'll be there in a couple months for Del Mar opening
Reach
day.
out to me. Yeah, reach out to me for sure. I live in La Jolla.
Appreciate it.
We'll hang out. Awesome. Have a good day.
Cheers. God bless you. See you.
If you're already a real estate investor, you know that aside from cash flow, you also get huge tax benefits by investing in real estate. But are you taking full advantage of all the potential tax benefits? We've been working with Tim Looney at CSSI for a few years now, and he's saved us and our clients hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in taxes doing cost segregation studies on their properties. Let me give you a few examples. We bought a property in 2019. If we had just used straight line depreciation, we would have saved about $18,750 in taxes. But because we did a cost seg, we saved $258,000. That's $239,350 more than standard straight line depreciation in the first year. The other great thing is, if you're classified as a real estate professional, you can apply this to other sources of income like W-2 or 1099 income, and you can also roll over any unused depreciation to future years. If you've owned your properties for a few years already, don't worry, you can still do a cost seg and save big on your taxes. This is not tax advice, so consult your CPA to see if you qualify to take advantage of these benefits. Call or text him at 318-469-9861 to get your complimentary property analysis. Once again, that's 318-469-9861. And I'll also include his information in the show notes. You guys don't want to miss out on these tax savings.